Good morning, everyone. Here's the CBC reporting. Trudeau sorry for violating conflict of interest laws with visit to Aga Khan's island. Oh, sorry. This was December 20th, 2017. Yeah, burying a story right before Christmas, 2017. So just walk through memory lane with me. So that was the first grouping of ethics violations. And here's one from August 2019. And it says, and this is Global News reporting, Trudeau broke ethics rules over SNC Lavalin affair, second ethics violation since 2015. And yeah, isn't that interesting? The first sitting prime minister to be hit with ethics violations, and well, he's hit with them more than one time. Isn't that interesting? I'm not going to go through this article. We've been looking at this report, this ethics violation, and there's a bit more to this as well today, so I'm just not going to read that right now. It's not important. Here is a reminder. This was reported on August 1st. I didn't get to it then, but Trudeau reported it, and I hope you have seen it. If not, here it is. Canada's largest newspaper gets $115,000 a week from the Trudeau government. Interesting. The Toronto Star, Canada's largest newspaper, has told its shareholders that the Trudeau government's media bailout has been netting the corporation $115,385 a week so far. The report, which was reported on by Blacklock's reporter, shows that the media outlet is already valuing the government handouts it's received this year in the millions. Quote, we recorded an estimate benefit of $3 million for the first half of the year in respect of a new refundable labor tax credit for qualifying journalism organizations, they wrote. And there's more to this story as well, talking about how much money they get, etc. But the point here is they're getting a lot of money. And here's a Toronto Star article. Well, here's the tweet. It says, there seems to have been a serious misinterpretation of Trudeau's own act and his jurisdiction by the ethics commissioner. There needs to be a far more in-depth discussion on the accuracy of this report among government, Errol Mendez writes. And this is a Toronto Star article kind of casting doubt on the ethics commissioner's report, right? Interesting. Just, interesting. $115 a week buys you, well, a little bit of doubt, apparently. The Toronto Star is reporting. Did the ethics commissioner misinterpret his own act and jurisdiction? At the start of his report, Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion rightly limits his jurisdiction under Section 9 of the Conflict of Interest Act to the actions of the Prime Minister using his position to influence a decision of the Attorney General on the criminal prosecution of SNC Lavalin. Section 9 prohibits public office holders from using their position to seek to influence a decision of another person so as to further their own private interest or those of their relatives or friends, or to improperly further another person's private interests. The Commissioner then extensively details what he considers to be attempts by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his senior officials, along with SNC Lavalin and their lawyers, to influence the decision of then Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould regarding offering a remediation agreement to the company. And remediation is also DPA, Deferred Prosecution Agreement. DPA is remediation, same thing. I'm going to scroll down because there's a lot of words, and the point of the article is summed up in these last two sentences. Okay, here it is. There seems to be a serious misinterpretation of his own act and his jurisdiction by the ethics commissioner. There needs to be far more in-depth discussion of the accuracy of this report among government, the media, and indeed the public before deciding whether Dion's conclusions will influence their vote in the coming election. And I got to that point and I was like, what? Wow. I thought that was just, what a cherry on top, right? The whole thing cast doubt on the report itself. Maybe he was out of his jurisdiction. Maybe these things that he looked into weren't really that bad at all, right? And then to say, we have to have a long, in-depth discussion, way too in-depth. Don't let this report influence your vote. Wow. So here's Section 119 of the Canada Criminal Code, and I've been referencing this on Twitter a bunch. People have been saying, like, here, look at this. What do you think? So I just want to put it out there. I think it's interesting. Section 119 reads, everyone is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 14 years who, A, being the holder of a judicial office or being a member of parliament or of the legislature of a province, directly or indirectly, corruptly accepts, obtains, agrees to accept or attempt to obtain for themselves or another person any money, valuable consideration, office, place, or employment in respect of anything done or omitted to be done or omitted by them in their official capacity, or B, directly or indirectly, corruptly gives or offers to a person mentioned in paragraph A or to anyone for the benefit of that person any money, valuable consideration, office, place, or employment in respect of anything done or omitted to be done or omitted by that person in their official capacity. Consent of Attorney General. No proceedings against a person who holds a judicial office shall be instituted under this section without the consent in writing of the Attorney General of Canada. Okay, so all of that seems at least a little bit related to what's been happening, right? Mr. Trudeau used his office as Prime Minister and his PMO and his lieutenants, the people who worked for him in the PMO, the Principal Secretary, Gerald Butts, Marquess, Elder Marquess, etc., Katie Telford, all of these people went to Jody Wilson-Raybould on Trudeau's behalf to fix this, to make this right, to get this done, right? Do this, get it done now. Okay, and we could go back and look through the testimony given by Ms. Wilson-Raybould. We could look through the testimony given by Mr. Butts and see that basically Trudeau corroborates this. He says that, oh yeah, when I talked to her in December, I made sure that she understood that I wanted her to have a second look after she'd clearly said, no, you need to stop pressuring me on this. It's done. Like, I'm not interfering. It's not happening. And she said that in September, right? And told them to back off in September. September 2nd, she told Trudeau, I believe it was September 2nd, and September 17, she told Elder and the rest of them to back off too. And then there were meetings at hotels with Gerald Butts, Principal Secretary, and Michael Wernick, the clerk of the Privy Council at the time, now gone, now stepped down, right? So all of this stuff just seems like this is related, right? Valuable consideration, just that alone. But I don't think that we're going to get any kind of sign-off from the Attorney General. Why? Well, this is an article posted yesterday, 2 days ago, August 15th. Justice Minister defends Trudeau after Ethics Commissioner report. That's Mr. Lametti. He was shuffled in when Jody Wilson-Raybould was shuffled out, because Scott Bryson left, right? If Scott Bryson hadn't left. Okay, back to the article. Federal Justice Minister and Attorney General David Lametti said Wednesday afternoon he still has faith in Prime Minister Justin Trudeau following the release of a report from the Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion concluding that Trudeau violated Canada's conflict of interest laws. The Prime Minister always felt that he was acting in the best interest of Canadians, yet, yes, there has been differences in interpretation of that. We have better clarity now, given that we have the Ethics Commissioner's report, but I do not doubt his sincerity in wanting to have a better country, and I do not doubt his leadership in that regard, Lametti told reporters at a funding announcement in Edmonton. I scroll down a little bit. The Ethics Commissioner has given his report. He made his findings. The Prime Minister, as you heard today, has accepted responsibility. There's no question. There are many things we could do better, said Lametti. The Justice Minister also made note of the report from former Liberal Minister Anne McClellan released by the Prime Minister's office Wednesday afternoon, recommending that the shared roles of Attorney General and Justice Minister not be split. I'll just note on the side here, the United Kingdom, England, Britain specifically, has a similar parliamentary setup that we do, and they have a split Attorney General and Justice Minister because they found conflict of interest. And a lot of people were speculating that we were going to do the same because the Shawcross doctrine has been cited a lot in the Jody Wilson-Raybould case because the Attorney General is a member of the caucus and a member of the cabinet. They sit in the cabinet meetings, so they're privy to information that may color what they do as Attorney General, right? And that was, in this case, saying that it's appropriate that they were putting pressure because it was cabinet, like we were talking about it in cabinet, et cetera. It's Shawcross. And I hope I'm not, but I could be misinterpreting that, but I believe that is correct. That they're saying that the information and the pressure is covered under Shawcross, and Mr. Dion says, no, it's not. So interesting. All of this stuff is interesting, that we're not splitting the Attorney General and the Justice Minister, etc. There's so much here, and the Liberals seem to be doubling down on staying the course. We're doing exactly what Canadians want us to do, so they think, despite the fact that Canadians polled don't want them to keep doing what they're doing. In my opinion, that's what I've seen. Anyway, okay, back to the last bit of this article. Quote, I think we can move forward positively. The one thing that is clear in all of this is that we need better clarity in terms of the interaction between the Attorney General and the other members of Cabinet. And so we've got some really good ideas. Moving forward, some good expert opinion, said Lametti, who reiterated that he had never felt any undue pressure from the Prime Minister or any member of his office or team to intervene in the SNC-Lavalin case. With the federal elections slated for October 21st, Lametti suggested the Liberals would continue to focus on the investments they have made in innovation, infrastructure, and in First Nation communities, for example. Right. So, yeah, don't expect that signature if anybody tried to go move forward with this, with Section 119. But that appears to qualify in this case. So, or at least be related. Interesting stuff. And man, we're so close to an election right now. Everybody, as I said, I'm in Ottawa, and last night we were, or I guess I'm in Quebec. Last night we were at the reception, and it was very energetic, and the conversations were it was very interesting to hear what's happening in everybody else's riding. And man, like, there's something happening. And well, we don't have to wait long to see. So October's not very far away. So lots happening. Get involved if you're interested. Reach out to your local campaign office and put your time in. Now's the time. So thanks for watching, everybody. Check out thepeoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day.